A reading from the letter to the Hebrews. Brothers and sisters, since through the blood of Jesus we have confidence of entrance into the sanctuary, by the new and living way he opened for us through the veil, that is, his flesh. And since we have a great priest over the house of God, let us approach with a sincere heart and in absolute trust, with our hearts sprinkled clean from an evil conscience and our bodies washed in pure water. Let us hold unwaveringly to our confession that gives us hope. For he who made the promise is trustworthy. We must consider how to rouse one another to love and good works. We should not stay away from our assembly, as is in the custom of some, but encourage one another, and this all the more, as you see the day drawing near. The word of the Lord. Lord, this is the people that longs to see your face.
Lord, this is the people that longs to see your face.
The Lord's are the earth and his fullness, the world and those who dwell in it. For he founded it upon the seas and established it upon the rivers. Lord, this is the people that longs to see your face. Who can ascend the mountain of the Lord, or who can stand in his holy place? He whose hands are senseless, whose heart is clean, who desires not what is vain. Lord, this is the people that longs to see your face. He shall receive a blessing from the Lord, a reward from God, his Savior. Such is the race that seeks for him, that seeks the face of the God of Jacob. Lord, this is the people that longs to see your face. Alleluia, alleluia.
Alleluia, alleluia.
A lamp to my feet is your word, a light to my path. Alleluia, alleluia.
The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark.
Glory to you, Lord.
Jesus said to his disciples, "Is a lamp brought in to be placed under a bushel basket or under a bed, and not to be placed on a lampstand? For there is nothing hidden except to be made visible. Nothing is secret except to come to light. Anyone who has ears to hear ought to hear." He also told them, "Take care what you hear. The measure with which you measure will be measured out to you, and still more will be given to you. The one who has, more will be given. From the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
The measure with which you measure will be measured out, and still more will be given. Dr. Ian Crozier contracted Ebola while treating patients at a government hospital in Sierra Leone. This was some time ago, back in 2015. You may have remembered it, reading about it on the news. He nearly died from the disease, but thanks to aggressive treatment he received at Emory University in Atlanta, he survived. And having completed 4 months of care and therapy, Dr. Crozier hoped to return to West Africa. And he did just that. He spent several weeks in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where an ongoing Ebola outbreak was happening. There, he focused on optimizing delivery of supporting care and using newly developed therapeutic tools. Dr. Crozier is back in the United States now, working for advancing new therapeutics to provide bedside care for patients with Ebola and other high-consequence diseases. In an interview in the New York Times in December of 2014, Dr. Crozier talked about the excruciating experience of treating patients of Ebola. But he also spoke about the many moments of grace he witnessed. Dedicated and overworked doctors, nurses, medical workers, and volunteers who risked their lives to care for the sick and the dying. Mothers who fed babies of other mothers who had died. Childless parents who took care of parentless children. An 11-year-old, violently ill, who was taken care of night and day by his 2 younger brothers. Medical personnel who survived the disease themselves flew about everywhere in the world to donate their plasma to infected colleagues. Despite devastating illness, compassion was the lamp that shattered the most horrifying and hopeless darkness. Dr. Crozier did not hide his lamp. Jesus calls it to be a kind of love and hope for those trapped in such endless nights. He challenges us to multiply good where we can, to make generosity and reconciliation the measure by which we live our lives. From what God has given us, may we give. From the love that God has embraced to us, may we embrace others. From the light of God's wisdom that we have discovered, may we take another's hand in peace and walk together. And may God's compassion and forgiveness for the light we set up on our lives, on our lampstands. By His grace, we make justice and mercy the measure by which we find meaning and purpose in our lives. May we love God as He loves us. May we forgive others as He forgives us. May we give to others as He gives to us, totally and completely, without hesitation, without limit or condition, never counting the cost.
Hey!